Alright, so I'm out here in my backyard and I'm about to put together this Spalding 50-inch polycarbonate portable basketball rim. So I'm going to put that just like that one is there, just like that little one is there. The kids did that too. Yeah, the kids did that. See, the neighbors got one too. I don't know what size theirs is. Might be the 50. I'm going to put that one right here, middle of the backyard here. And I'm going to shoot the buckets that way. So they already got the trampoline. Me and Sean put that together. Cousin Sean. Alright, so that's where I'm going to be shooting hoops at. So what I've done at this point is I've taken everything out. And there's the base and the rim and the net and the backboard. And that's all the bolts and screws that I should have. So I laid them out just like that. Make sure that I had all of them, and I got all of them. And then those are nuts and bolts and the springs. So I'm about to get to it. Just been throwing everything back in the box as I've been opening up these little bags. Yeah. All right, and then I'll show you progress along the way. Because let's see, we want this thing looking like that. Better yet, like that. Alright, so I just finished putting this nuts and washers and caps and clips section together up there. Okay, so for this part, I have to take the wheel and put this through it with that. And then these are end caps, and they're supposed to go on either side of that rod, and then I got to use the hammer. So I did that to this one already. Okay, so I'm about to do the same thing to that one. Okay, alright, that part is all done. Got my knuckles ashy. It's alright, I'm working. Alright. Okay, so that was for the wheel section. I put the wheels in, had to screw it down. Gives me instructions to not screw down the back holes yet, because that's for another part. You're definitely going to need a tool set to do this project, and this will do a little hyper tough 116 piece home repair tool set. Okay, had to ratchet that stuff down, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be up to the task for anything that I need here. Alright, next step. Okay, this next step was pretty easy, or simple, should I say. So, the main pole came in 3 sections: the bottom, the middle, and then the top. So, it suggests to use a piece of wood, but I guess as long as you have a solid surface at the bottom. And I got this fake grass out here, so you have to align. There's a dimple there that has to line up with the groove of the sections. See, this dimple here has to line up with the groove of the sections, and then you just jam that in, pound it like you're pounding into the ground. Okay, but it only wants you to go so far, so you see that there's still room for that to go down further. but it's supposed to be like that. That's what the final picture shows, that you should still see some of that groove. All right, on to the next part. Okay, for this next section, I'm supposed to take, and I kind of did it already, but I'm supposed to go through the back with 2 bolts and this plate, and then I'm supposed to take that pole and put it there. Now it says that this should take 2 people to do, but I don't have a second person here, so your guy Dave is going to try and do this one by himself. Line up these holes. With those bolts. All right, here we go. And I did it. Didn't need a second person. It would have been nice to have a second person, because I had to be ambidextrous there. I had to use my left hand up here and position this up, and I used that little cooler. See, that stuff helps you out. I used that little cooler. I had the pole on top of the cooler to get the right angle while I was fiddling around back here trying to line up the holes, and I tightened those up pretty good. Okay, so for this next section, I had to secure the base struts, or I call them braces, to the main pole. Those 2 braces there. And I just have it set up like that right now because I'm doing this by myself. But eventually those bottom parts of it, the curved part, I wouldn't call that a 90-degree angle. It's somewhere close, maybe an 80-degree. That 80-degree part is eventually going to go into here. You can tell, you can see once this gets stood up. So far, just so you know, the tools that I've used that hammer for a part of the wheel section, and I've used a 1/2-inch socket and a 9/16 TEENFs socket for this past section. Oh, I also used that adjustable wrench, that C wrench, because when it came to this part, I had to hold the C wrench here and then use that 1/2-inch socket on that section just to tighten it up. And then this is the part to where that little exposed section right there, that part that I thought that I lost, it's just going to go on there. Put that right there. Get on there. Okay, yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice. Next. Okay, so the next step was putting that part on. It's one of these bolts that don't line up. Don't line up. So I started cutting it. I got the other ones on, and that's an aesthetic piece. I might not worry about it. All right, next. All right, the next step is to fish these through to back there and catch them with this. Okay, so that's the next step I'm about to do. Now, the directions on here shows there's 2 holes on this thing, and this has 3, so it's just a little different than what the instructions show. But obviously I'm going to be going to top and bottom. I don't know why they have that middle one there, because the middle one doesn't match the instructions anyway. but this is an occasion where the instructions don't show exactly what you have, and this really is the only piece that even looks like this. So this is not a matter of me having the wrong piece. This is just they got an extra hole there, so I'm going to be using top and bottom. Okay, that part is done and screwed in on front and back. The next step is more regarding this assembly, and those holes there. So you see it's a little weird configuration to do that. I'm not going to be able to do this with the camera, so I'll show you the finished product, the finished result. Okay, so can you see that? So it's from left to right. It's a bolt, and then through the bracket, and then through the spacer holder. The flat sides are on the inside. So spacer holder, spacer holder, and through the bracket again, and then a washer and a nut. Okay, and then I'll have to do the same thing into the third hole here, and that's going to be up like that. All right, so here we go. Okay, that part is done, and I use my adjustable wrench, my C wrench, and a 9/16 TENNFs, could be an M somewhere in there, to tighten that down. And it said just tighten it down just enough until the washer stop moving. Okay, next. Okay, so the next step is to put this lanyard through this locking pin like you do your car keys, and then using this bolt and using these two pieces as bookends, we're going to go through that hole all the way through the other side. And so this is part of the mechanism that involves hiring the hoop and lowering the hoop. So I might have to lower it for the kids sometimes, but I'm gonna get off on it at 10 feet. Okay, so here we go. I'll show you the finished product after I finish this step. Okay, so there's that. So now the next part is step 12 there, and we have to put the handle assembly through the pole, and then we'll lock it in place with that locking pin, that hanging locking pin. So we're coming to get this piece. I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so that's another section that's done. Again, this is where you can adjust the height, exact the height. Okay, and it's got the measurements on that's the left side of the rim if you're looking from the shooter's position. Okay, and I've got it locked in at 10 feet. That little sticker came off, but that's I had to put it on the back, and that's the best place to put it anyway, because whatever. And so you see, you can set it at 9.5, 9, 8.5. Sorry, the numbers are blurring. There it is, 8, and then it goes as low as 7.5. But I got it at 10. The next section is going to have this looking like it's complete. Okay, so as you see, I still have to put the backboard and the rim on there, and let's see, there's the backboard and there's the rim. So I still got a little ways to go, but this is looking good. All right, I'll show you when I'm done with the next section. these are the parts that I need for the next section. And here this shows me how many that I need of each one of those parts. In the parentheses, it shows me how much I need of each one of these parts. Now look, the spring right there, only got one of those. It says that I need 2. But if you look down here, number 33, right there, there's only 1. So this is another case where the instructions are wrong or show something that's off. So Spalding, if by some chance you see this video, correct your stuff, man. Maybe this is why people don't like to use instructions, although that's not a big deal, right? However, I don't think that I could have put this thing together without the instructions, because there's too many nuts and bolts, and they're similar in size, and it's just too many of them. You can get something wrong if you were to decide to just try and do this by yourself. But you got it wrong, Spalding. I pointed out another mistake earlier too. I'm not trying to point out mistakes, but hey, it happens. All right, I'm going to show you when I'm done with this section. So earlier I told you the socket sizes that I was using, but for this part, for these number 31s, I had to use a different size. So it's something bigger than a 9/16. I just went ahead and got my other C-wrench and screwed those on. Excuse me. So I got the front and the little and the long bars. The little bars go on the top, and the long bars go on the bottom. And so again, I had to use my 2 C-wrenches to go ahead and tighten those up, and just until the bolt is flush with the end of the nut, or the instructions that gave. It said to use a sawhorse, and this is my that's my little setup for a sawhorse. But I got that part done. Okay, I'll show you the next part when it's done. Oh, this was important to note, the orientation of the elevator bars. So they are supposed to go in. So see how they curve in? That part is supposed to be on the inside for all of them. Okay, because if you install them backwards, I'm pretty sure you'll be having some problems. All right, but there we go.
Where did you put it?
Note that orientation. That's the way it's supposed to be, facing towards the basket. Okay, so this next step was to install the handle assembly, this, to the elevator tubes, the lower elevator tubes. Okay, so it was bolt, spacer, handle assembly, spacer, and then a nut on the outside. Okay, just like that. And again, just until the bolt is flush to the end of the nut. Okay, so to do this next section, number 17 there, which is to attach the lower tubes to the backboard, like that, I had to take it off of 10 feet, and I had to bring it down, and I didn't even have it locked in to what is locked in right now at 8 foot, but I didn't even have it locked down, but I had to lower it so that the way that I moved this arm would allow me to position those, I guess they call those tubes. So there were holes right here, and so I had to do a bolt, a spacer, and then a nut, and so I got it done. They suggest this be done by 2 people. Some of these steps need to be done by 2 people. That's the suggestion. Yeah, it would have made it easier, but as you see, I got it done myself. And tighten that with the 9/16 and with my C-wrench on the other side. So now the next step is to basically do that same thing to these top arms. All right, and I'll show you once I'm done with it. Okay, I'm back, and you see I have the top elevator tubes, the upper elevator tubes connected to the top portion of the backboard. Now to do that, as you see, I had to pick up the top of the backboard a bit. Had to pick it up a bit so that it can meet the arms, and then I put it through. So bolt, spacer, arm, nut. Okay, so I'm looking good here. I think the only thing that I have left is pretty much the goal. Okay, so I have put the spring, that tension spring there, and that bracket. Okay, that bracket had to be screwed in with 4 screws. That was pretty easy. You see I have the gold standing up right now. I don't have anything filled into the base yet, so it can't take any weight, but that'll be the last thing that I do. And that spring, you know, it's stretched out right now, but when it's not coiled, you want to make sure that you attach that string to the bottom, that screw there, and then it's going to screw up there, and that's easier to do when you have that when you have the whole board on your workhorse bench or your makeshift workhorse bench like I did. Okay, my next step is to deal with the rim, and I'm almost done here, so see you at the next step. Okay, so I got the rim on there now. That step involved me taking the rim and putting it in here, and there's a little bar right here. You want to make sure that the rim fits up in there, and then you're gonna have to hold it while you do this. You're gonna have to hold all of this stuff while you do this. So I had the rim, I had this reinforcement bracket, I had this spring. There's tension on that spring right now. Great tension on that spring because I had a bolt, and then I had a special nut and a special washer that goes there. I don't know if you can see that real good, but I had to have all of that stuff. Unless you're like Shaq's height, this is even on the lowest setting, and I'm 6'6", so to deal with all of that stuff in my hands at the same time, again, this would be better with 2 people, but I was just, you know, on a little step ladder. Not even a step ladder. You know, I'm in my backyard, so that's my step ladder. That's all I needed. Like I say, I'm 6'6", and that was enough to give me the height that I needed. So I got the basket on there. All right, we're looking good. Next step. Oh, I just wanted to add that I had to ratchet that down quite far. I wanted you to ratchet that down until you see the bolt sticking out about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. So what I guess that's for is if you know you dunk on this rim, or you put any type of weight on this rim, that spring is going to activate. Okay. See the neighbor's rim over there? His ain't like mine. He don't got all these springs. It's a Spalding, but I looked at the back of his attachment and it's not like mine. Haha. All right, that piece is not completely necessary. It's a little hub, but it makes it look better. It does, you know, so you don't have to see that spring. So to attach that, I had to fit that on there, and then there's 2 screws. Yeah, there's 2 screws there, one there, and so I just tilted the rim forward so I could see up there and screw those down better. All right, next step. All right, I'll do it. So the sticker is going to go on there. This net is going to go on there, and those pads are going to go around the bottom of the backboard. There, and then I'll be done. So the next thing that I'm going to show you guys is the finished product. All right, that's it. I am all out of parts. And the rim is finished. Just a note, those borders for the bottom of the backboard, the screws that I screwed in, they don't go in very far. I probably would have to re-drill those holes just for the screws to go in a bit further. I kind of didn't want to put those things on anyway, but I did, and I'm not going to re-drill those holes to go deeper. So if you have those issues when you're setting this up, then know that you're not the only one. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust this to 10 feet. Alright, bear with me. So I'm going to hold this, take this pin out. Alright, pull that to 10 feet. Alright, bear with me. Might have to show you on the next one. Okay, that's the rim standing at 10-foot height, and it's all complete. Alright, project done. Might show you some videos of me hooping on it and see if I can still yam on 10 feet. Okay, so that's the finished product, and I have it up at 10 feet. That's the height I'll be operating at. Might operate with it lower for the kids. Just remember to add water or sand. So I got it filling up with water right now, the water hose. And this will be good to go. I'm going to shoot some hoops on that as soon as that water is filled up. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful for you if you're going to be putting one of these things together yourself. And if you do, hope you have a good time and enjoy it. Thanks. Bye.